From Neural Newscast, this is Stereo Current, sound, culture, and the systems that shape them.
Stereo.
I'm Sloan Rivera, and you're listening to Stereo Current. It is August 2nd, 2026, and we are diving into the essential sounds and underground intelligence you need right now.
And I'm Julian Vance. Today we're looking at the weight of history. Everything from a long-awaited ambient swan song to a 5-night stand at the Garden that felt like a literal time machine.
We have to start with that spectacle in Midtown. Spin is reporting that Phish just wrapped a wild 5-night run at Madison Square Garden that played like a chronological love letter to the 90s.
It was heavy on the nostalgia, Sloan. They played 106 distinct songs with 0 repeats, keeping the sets frozen in specific years like 1993 and 1994. They kicked off at their 92nd career appearance at the venue and just did not let up.
Trey Anastasio was apparently fully committed to the bit, too, wearing the exact shirts from the period, including the one from the 1996 Clifford Ball. There is something really poetic about a 37-minute You Enjoy Myself in 2026.
Absolutely. They even did a 31-minute jam on the Talking Heads' Cross-Eyed and Painless and closed the whole concept with Backwards Down the Number line. It was a masterclass in nostalgia that didn't feel stagnant.
Speaking of that era, Mojave 3 is finally getting the treatment they deserve. Under the Radar shared that 4AD has remastered and reissued their long out-of-print catalog from 1995 to 2006.
That box set sold out in minutes, Sloan. It's a fascinating bridge, seeing Neil Halstead and Rachel Goswell transition from the ethereal waves of Slowdive into that intimate, warm alt-country space.
The restoration work at Abbey Road is apparently exquisite. Listening to Ask Me Tomorrow now, it feels like you're actually in the room with them. It captures that mid-90s swoon that feels so essential right now.
It is the definitive way to experience them, even with the limited vinyl run. It reminds you that Mojave 3 wasn't just a side project. It was a necessary evolution of their shared musical language.
Julian, let's shift to something contemporary, but equally focused on identity. Jamsphere has been dissecting Ricardo Padua's new single, Iridescent, and it is a massive anthem for self-acceptance.
I love the metaphor there, treating identity as a frequency rather than a costume. The song starts in these quiet shadows of concealment before exploding into this festival-ready hook that refuses to be subtle.
Padua is writing directly from the LGBTQ+ experience, but using a dual perspective device. A woman hiding her colors and a man finding his community in the dark. It is radical popcraft.
Exactly. By the bridge, he drops the third person and just declares he refuses to hide. It has that maximalist DNA of Dua Lipa or Muna, but it earns the payoff by sitting in the silence first.
If Padua is the sunrise, Alia is the smolder. Jamerzine just featured her new single, Willpower, and it is pure emotional arson. It's a revenge track that takes its sweet time.
It's unsettling, Sloan. Produced by Dylan Olivier, it uses these politically violent undertones and a marching snare cadence to build this sense of distrust and catharsis.
The video is rooted in woman in white folklore, spiritual haunting as a representation of not being able to let go. It's cutthroat and gracefully articulated.
She's proving that emotional complexity is way more interesting than manufactured drama. Alia isn't asking for closure here. She's haunting the site of the argument forever.
Moving from haunting to high-fidelity tributes, Adam Wiltzie has finally completed his final collaboration with the late Jóhann Jóhannsson. Espen notes the album is called Friendship Survival Guide, due September 18th.
This is heavy, Sloan. These sessions started back in 2013 and were shelved after Johann's death in 2018. Wiltzie returned to the analog tape loops to finish what they called their own weird record.
It is a time capsule. It even features some of the final recordings of the late Steve Albini, who amped up the guitar parts at Electrical Audio. That adds a whole other layer of legacy to the project.
The track September 1969 is particularly moving. It's the month they were both born, just 2 days apart. Wiltzie described it as a private language between friends.
Julian, it sounds like an artifact that is very much alive. A metaphysical taxi ride through Ghent and Musen captured in a companion film. It's the ultimate tribute to a collaborator who isn't there anymore.
And it sets the stage for a fall tour from a winged victory for the sullen. Wiltzie is keeping that presence alive, showing that collaboration is something you could never do by yourself.
Let's kick the tempo up a few notches. A&R Factory just put me on to Moose Wrench and their new track, Dead Stars. They are a leads trio doing synthy prog rock at 145 BPM.
It is a neurological event, Sloan. Imagine Mozart on mushrooms playing a keytar. They don't even use guitars, just keytar, bass, and drums, but they sound so much more kinetic than most garage bands.
It is technical and festival ready, with a surprisingly philosophical spine. They are leaning into the absurdism of Mr. Bungle and Primus, while reminding us we're all just neon dust.
Speaking of that garage energy, Silver Horizon is tearing through the static. Their single Come Down sounds like it was fired straight out of a Strokes cannon, but with a Massachusetts edge.
It has that specific kind of charisma, Julian. Scuzzy guitar effects and a devil-may-care attitude that feels restlessly ready for a sweaty basement show.
Bryce Broberg's vocals have that cocky but magnetic quality, Sloan. They are chasing their own damage, and in a sea of indie landfill, Silver Horizon actually sounds like they have a heartbeat.
Glasgow is also showing up with Junior VP. Jammazine featured their single Red Cardigan, which ditches the irony for pure, heart-on-sleeve college rock nostalgia.
Ross McIntosh has this honesty that really works, Sloan. It is a sad song dressed up in a happy arrangement, telling the story of a long-lost first love named Grace.
It feels like it could have lived in 2006, but sounds perfectly at home in 2026. Shimmering guitar lines and a playful studio chemistry that you just can't manufacture.
It is a reminder that sometimes the hook is enough. You don't need to bury it under 12 layers of cynicism if the melody is strong enough to carry the weight.
We also have a transmission from the edge of the void. AWAKECONTRA has a new single called Lost and Found that A&R Factory describes as alt trap for the digitally haunted.
It is woozy, Sloan. Cloud rap meeting 8-bit polyphonic keys. He keeps his identity close to his chest, but the cadence drifts and snaps in a way that feels like emotional overload.
It is diaristic but stylistic, Julian. It gives you a spectacle that feels like a twisted carnival inside the machine. Definitely one for the late-night underground playlists.
And finally, we have to talk about Chris Bradley. Her single Fireproof is an Americana folk fable about the psychological epidemic of burnout.
I was struck by the story behind it, Julian. She built this massive education company, produced like a boss, but lost her own music in the process. Fireproof was the first song she wrote after selling the business.
It strips back the grind culture glamour. It is a vulnerable harbinger for anyone grinding themselves to dust. The country pop rock sincerity really lets the lyricism hit hard.
It acknowledges that passion can become kryptonite if you are not careful. It is a soul-sating direction for an artist who finally let the light back in.
A fitting place to end today. A reminder that the frequency is always there, whether you're rediscovering it in your own career or tuning into it at the garden.
Before we wrap, it is time for our 10 essential listens for your week.
Starting at the top, we have Adam Wiltzie and Jóhann Jóhannsson with Friendship Survival Guide. It is a somber, beautiful ambient collaboration a decade in the making.
Next is a total classic, Phish with Alive One. It is a quintessential 90s document that really captures the spirit of their recent Madison Square Garden run.
At number 3, we have Mojave 3 and the 4AD reissue of Ask Me Tomorrow. It remains the gold standard for that transition from shoegaze to intimate alt country.
Moving into indie pop, Ricardo Padua gives us Iridescent. It is a vibrant anthem for self-acceptance layered with some shimmering synths.
Then we have ALEIA with Willpower. This art pop track is a masterclass in controlled emotional arson.
If you need a jolt, Moose Wrench has you covered with Dead Stars. It is high-velocity synth-prog that hits a full 145 BPM.
For the garage rock fans, Silver Horizon delivers Come Down. It has a gritty, strokes-infused energy that breathes new life into the indie aesthetic.
Then we go to Glasgow for Junior VP and Red Cardigan. It is sincere jangle pop that wraps hazy memories in classic melodies.
At number 9 is AWAKTRA with Lost and Found. These are haunted digital transmissions, blending cloud rap and alt-trap textures.
Finally, we have Chris Bradley with Fireproof, a vulnerable Americana reflection on finding the strength to return from creative burnout.
And with that stack on your queue, we are out.
I'm Sloan Rivera. Thanks for letting us curate your ears today. Find more at stereocurrent.neuralnewscast.com.
And I'm Julian Vance. We'll be back tomorrow with more scene intelligence. Neural Newscast is AI-assisted, human-reviewed. View our AI transparency policy at neuralnewscast.com.
This has been Stereo Current on Neural Newscast. Sound, culture, and the systems that shape them.